State Champs have always kept Australia as one of the first few tour stops on each album tour cycle. What's your favorite highlight about the shows down under?
Everybody's so awesome in Australia, and but the thing is, I kind of forget what they're like because it's been so long. So I'm so excited to finally come back. Um, you know, it's been I don't know when how it's been 5 or 6 years since we've been back now.
No, your last tour was 2022 with the main.
Oh, that's right, 20. So 3 years,
Yeah,
three.
3 years.
Yeah, I know. So it's been too long at this point, though. Still, it being 3 years. But my favorite part is just how awesome and receptive everybody is of everything we put out. It seems to grow more and more every time we come out. So, and the community has just grown stronger. We make new fans every time we come out there, whether we're headlining or opening. So the fact that we've got a whole new album to you know, promote and play and that and the thing is it's so hard to like pick a set list these days too, having 5 albums out now. So, and that's the fact that we only have so much time. So I think we're even still arguing between the four of us, what songs to play from which albums and whatnot, and we want to cater and make sure everybody has a good time. So if that's the biggest of our problems, I think we're going to be okay. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, we've got new songs for to look forward to on this tour. The self-titled album. I would just want to say it is a banging record. Like I feel like you guys are so consistent with your sound and style over the years. But
Thank you very much.
is the self-titled album the band's most authentic selves yet?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of people ask why we went with self-titled for this album being our fifth album. Most bands I feel like do self-titled for their first album or maybe like their third album, but we made it to five. So it's kind of it's unique in the fact that no, we didn't just call it self-titled because we couldn't think of an album title. Like I feel like that's a cop out. I do think that this embodies State Champs as a whole, and there's a little piece of every album and everything that we've ever done in this album, our fifth album. So, um, we do think it's the most authentic thing that we've put out, and we're just excited to share it. Usually, everyone's just like, by the time you get to 5, 6 albums plus, everyone's like, we only want to hear the old stuff, but that's not the case with this. So we've been playing a lot of the new stuff while mixing in all the greatest hits from the old albums as well. And I think we've nailed it with the set list and everything that we've come across with on this touring cycle so far. So it's great to see people singing along and being super receptive to the new stuff.
Yeah. Is Save Face Story going to be on the set list? Has that been
I
played?
think it must be. I think it's got to be. But we need to find out who's gonna do the bridge part that like is very yelly and screamy. That's featured because that's Slope, a German hardcore band that features on it. We
Ah,
normally had our merch guy Cody in the States coming out and singing that part with us, but he won't be on this run in Australia with us. So if
okay.
anyone out there thinks they got what it takes to do the breakdown bridge slope part, let us know. Send us a video, and you can be the next singer for State Champs.
After Save Face Story on the album, that song Golden Years, it kind of leaves a bit of mystery to what's next for State Champs. Like, what was the meaning behind that song?
So the Golden Year is kind of like it tells a story about growing up essentially and reflecting on like where you came from and upbringing of the people you surround yourself with. Talks about old friends. It's almost like a leave this town type thing, like, a nostalgic type song. But a lot of people are like, is that you kind of saying that you're over being in a band? Or like, and like you're gonna like break up? It's like, no, it's not about that. It's basically about reflecting on like old hometown friends and being in high school and being in college and just starting out and being a band and not really knowing how to grow up. It's basically like, when we first started doing this, we were all in like partying all the time and not sleeping and, bad decisions and this and that. It's basically about kind of like making sure that we can do this stuff that we love for as
Yeah.
long as we can while also learning how to be a grown ass man. While learning how to adult, if you will, and leaving certain things in the past and being able to look forward. It's like, yeah, because it's maybe the good things have to change, but that doesn't mean that they go away. That's one of the lyrics in the bridge of that song, and it's just like, we want to be able to do this music thing and have fun touring and the fun side of it as long as we can forever. But that comes with a balance, and that comes with everything in moderation and finding that sweet spot of this and that and paying attention to like a lot of people have families now, a lot of people have kids, buying homes, handling finances, stuff like that, stuff that we never had to deal with when we first started being in this band as teenagers. So It's just a growing up song. That's all. We're not gonna break up. We're gonna keep making music. I promise.
Awesome. We love to hear that. The golden years, you can always celebrate the old tracks, but also keep bringing out the new albums, which is exactly what you're doing. And that 2025 is the 10th year anniversary of Around the World and Back.
It is. That's right.
Yeah, so looking back on that record, it was such a staple for you for your career, but what was the biggest career defining moment during that time?
I think when Around the World and Back came out, it was the first time that we did a full world tour, and that was actually with Neck Deep. And it started in Australia in 2016, I think, in January. So I think it was just the idea that we are a real band that can headline. And well, we were co-headlining with Neck Deep, but then beyond that, it was the beginning of our headlining. We can put on a state champ show and sell out venues and feel like a real band. That was like the first time we ever thought that. And that was also that year on the Around the World and Back album cycle was the first time we were bumped to main stage on Warped Tour, for instance. Like so it was just a big turning point in the band's career where we're like, oh, and I think it was finally where we started making money, like where we would come home from tours like with actual money to be like, this is
Yeah.
mine. This is really it's just a point where we're like, oh, this is like we're making a living doing this now. Like we got to take this seriously and build on this, right? Like people really care about this and people relate to it. So
Yeah.
let's build on that and keep growing. So Around the World and Back is will always hold a special place. So we're gonna have to do something special, I think, later in the year to celebrate that. But we're working on that right now.
Yes. And this tour next month, it's kind of like a full circle moment, I guess now, your third time back to Australia with Neck Deep. Do you have anything special in the works for fans this time around?
Well, I mean, we have songs together now, so that's kind of
Yeah.
special. um, we haven't actually talked. I haven't really talked to the guys in Neck Deep since maybe at When We Were Young festival in
Yeah.
Vegas at the end of last year. I mean, we keep in touch online and we'll text every once in a while, but we haven't talked about the tour really. We haven't talked about like stuff because it's so funny. It's like riding a bike when we tour together. Like if we'll show up on day one and be like, hey, what's good? You want to go to the bar or like you want to go get dinner? Like, and it's so normal because we go so far back and we've grown together. But we'll always it doesn't take us long to find tricks up our sleeve when it comes to touring together and playing shows together. So whether it's us invading their stage or them invading our stage, everybody's going to be in for a treat on this tour.
Yeah, sounds like it's going to be an absolute part. I have one last question for you. Warp Tour later this year. I feel like State Champs definitely really broke some ground on Warp Tour back in the day. So I guess what's your thoughts? I feel like you guys are one of the legacy acts now.
I know it feels insane to think that we're not a baby band. I considered us a baby band in the scene for
Yeah.
so long. We're not a baby band anymore. We're all in our 30s, man. So it's like I guess we are a legacy act, but we owe so much to Warped Tour. We owe our career to Warped Tour, and needless to say, like we started doing it in 2014, and we were on the smallest stage, and we were driving ourselves around in a van. And once we made it through that, we were like, we can make it through anything. So then 2016, we came back and we were headlining on the main stage for the first time. And then 2018 was the third time we did it. And that was the last year of the full length Warped Tour. So the fact that it's coming back to some capacity in a bigger sense, like bigger festival style, um, is going to be amazing. The fact that we get to kind of reminisce and dive back into that and get a taste of it again is going to be so cool. And just the fact that it's been now because it's 2025. It's the 30-year anniversary of Warped
Yeah.
Tour, the 11-year anniversary since we did our first one. So it's just a crazy ride to think back on what's happened since then and now. But man, it's gonna be very very reminiscent and nostalgic for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What other act on the Warp Tour who are you most excited to see?
Hmm. I think Avril Lavigne's on one of them. That's gonna be sick.
She's only at the Washington one.
It's only the Washington one. Yeah, I mean, Avril Lavigne's on one. A Day to Remember's on one. Machine Gun Kelly's on one. That's gonna be cool. The Wonder Years are on one.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know if the Story So Far is on any of them, but if
I
they
don't
are,
think they are, nah.
they aren't. Shit.
Otherwise it could
Uh,
be a noise stage.
I know, right? But there's so many bands that I'm excited to see. It's gonna be awesome. It's a lot of friends, and I'm sure I'll make some new favorite bands along the way too. Bands that I've never heard.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I will actually be at the Warp Tour in Florida later this year.
Oh, awesome! Let's hang out. It's gonna be
Yeah,
sick. That's gonna
definitely
be
for
one of the
sure.
better ones
After
too.
following April.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks so much for having a chat with me, Derek. I can't wait for the shows. I'll see you on the East Coast.
All right, sounds
For
good.
sure.
Thanks so much. We'll see you then.